why, when we cut up this tusk, did we do such a shit job at it? I've already made a video talking about the scientific reasons behind why we sacrifice this tusk. Now let's talk about the actual methodology of fucking this thing up. Now, normally this is not how it goes, all right? Katie, in her vast amounts of optimism, did bring a whole variety of diamond-tipped blades in order to try and cut through it, and then looked at it and remembered that it was a pile of chalky bark chips wrapped inside a glue and sand sausage casing, and thought, handsaw it is. We found that there was already quite a few chunks that have fallen off of it. So we decided to look at them to see if we could see the little V-shaped shrieker line patterns that we were looking for before we even bothered to cut it open, because if we couldn't, what was the point? Now, conventional wisdom is that in order to sample a tusk, in order to see shrieker lines and growth lines and all of those interesting things, you cut and you polish a nice slice so it's thin enough that you can shine light through it and you can see those shrieker patterns, because they have different amounts of density. Sometimes they fossilize a little bit differently, so you get different color bands even. And ours didn't do that. Not only do the shrieker bands not show any amounts of different densities or different colors, if you sand them, they disappear. This is a cleavage pattern. This is only something that shows up when you break a chunk. And even then, it's actually still really hard to see these patterns because white reflects too much light, which is where I got a little creative. I asked, and the staff brought me some food dye. All that time teaching kindergarten really helps because that food dye works perfectly. It makes it so much easier to visualize the differences in that shrieker banding. Did we also maybe spend the next 2 days dyeing chunks of tusk for kids that were visiting the museum? Yeah. Did Katie somehow develop Dr. Seuss's Lyme disease by being just a messy bitch? Yeah. But regardless, remember we're doing all of this with the permission from the museum. We discovered that food dye worked really well. We could actually see the shrieker lines, so it was time to cut. And because we knew that we were going to have to break pieces open, we knew that we actually could not take slices. I did just make kind of a supercut of us fucking it up, mostly so that I could make fun of Christina, who's a poet, so she deserves it. And we did in fact look at it for quite a while before actually doing anything and stop and double check if there was a better way of doing it. In the end, we did decide to go without consolidant and without epoxy, both because they're water resistant, so they rejected the food dye, and because we ran the risk of those erasing the cleavage pattern that we needed in order to see the shrieker lines. So there you go.